things I have not been getting to.
Exactly. Yes,
It's
we're going to
very
talk about
important to do that stuff though for your performance metrics and improvement.
exactly right. So that's kind of what we're going to dive into today and chat about is Sisu. So I'm going to share my screen. I am learning some wonderful stuff about Zoom, how to get rid of things so I can see my screen better. So I can get rid of this little bad boy. Where is it at? Hide the.
I am eating, that's why I'm putting up my lovely picture.
You're totally fine. No worries at all. So, you guys have seen this before. So this is Sisu. I'm going to get into this right here. So Sisu has two different modes. One of them is this mode right here, which is the upgraded or updated version, the newer version. And then there is Sisu Classic up here at the top. I like the classic version for whatever reason. It's just kind of how I learned it. The other one's been around 60 days, and I've been in Sisu for 10 months now. Up here at the top, it should say eXp Realty. You guys, it should say New Vision Realty Group. I have one called FastCap because when I first learned about Sisu, I was in FastCap. So you'll see that this has blue on it. So you guys should only have one. There, I think we have one or two people that came from a different team, and they may have a secondary drop down. But for those you guys that only have it once, it should say New Vision Realty Group right here. So this is what your thing looks like. It has all these amazing things. This is, and so just so you guys know, I'm an admin. This is not my personal production up here. This is the team production. You'll see it says scope right here. And so it has year 25. So this is everything year to date for all of New Vision. And for New Vision, it is actually everybody in my 12-week challenge. So we do have a few folks that are outside of our mega team, but I still have you guys kind of in our scope just so I can kind of look at everything. So this is your little record button. This is what you should be doing for your daily activities. So this right here is your activities. And so today I've had 7 conversations. I've made 13 dials. I didn't add anybody to my CRM, no personal notes, no prepared CMAs, none of this other good stuff. But as you go through and add these things in, they add to your points and they ultimately are going to get you when you're talking about conversations, dials, and then when we talk about transactions, it will show the process as you go through so that you're getting closer to a closed transaction. We're going to get into goals, and that's going to break those down even further. So when I am talking about transactions, I'm going to move this down again. I do not go in and put appointment set, appointment met. I go here to the top right and I hit add transaction. And I recorded this, right? I just want to verify.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I want to do this whole thing and then go, oh, I forgot to record again. So when I go add transaction, it pulls up. Now mine says agent because I'm the admin. So we'll go to mine. So you guys will probably pull just your own. I put my client's information, first and last name, and then if they're a buyer or seller. And then after that, I go, where's my lead source? Was it a direct lead? Did I meet him in open house? Is it a past client? Is it a referral? And if it is a referral, who's the referring website? Like, did I get this from um, my agent finder? Did I get it from Agent Pronto? Is it a friend of mine from the Bay Area that's referring me somebody? So I look at all this data and then, and I don't put a lot of times my email and phone number because I'm not using this as a tracking mechanism or a CRM. I'm only using it for data points and to follow my process to see what my conversions are. So I go ahead and put my first appointment set. So the date in here should be the date the appointment is set. So if I set an appointment today for 7:15 and I meet them tomorrow, my first appointment met will be on the date of 7:16. If at that appointment I have them sign a buyer broker agreement or a listing agreement, I put the same date in here. Under contract is my offer is accepted or my listing is in contract. And then the closing date, I will put a projected date in here. Then I put in the transaction amount. So if it's $500,000 property, then I go in here and I collect what is my percentage. This is my fee, whether it's on my buyer broker or it's in my listing agreement. So it should be 3%. And then, of course, you've got your gross agent paid commission. So if you're on a standard EXP, it's a 80-20. If you're on a mega team, if you're on a team, Also, if you're paying a referral fee out. So I'm on an 80-20 split, but I'm paying 25% out to my friend. I'm not on an 80-20 here. I'm actually on a 55 because that's what I'm going to take or keep. And then I go in here and I might write some notes. Hey, referral from Bob Smith at Cole Banker in Fremont, paying him 25% referral fee. And then I'll add that person in. And then it will give me a picture of my snapshot. So Sisu does move a little slow in a couple of these things. So this is my actual conversion for today. So based on my information, I've closed 3.3 million this year, which is 8 deals. I have 6.71 forecasted. I have 14 scheduled in different phases. And then I have my daily activity. I'm supposed to have 16 conversations a day based on what my projections are, and we're going to get to goals in a second. And so of that, I only had 7 conversations. That means I should have set one buyer appointment today, and I didn't set any buyer appointments. I should have had 0.75 of buyer appointments met, and I have 0. So all of these are zeros because this is set based on my daily activity for today, 7:15. I can change this and do a week's worth, a month worth, a quarter, whatever, to see where I'm tracking. That all makes sense? Okay. So I have 3 live listings. I don't know why it's not showing there. I must have a box checked wrong. And then units pending, I have 10, which is accurate. So I have 5.21 million in escrow. My commission is roughly at about 61,000 if all of those close. And then so far this year, I've made 44.9. So the cool thing about this is you guys can look at your projections and realize, hey, I want to make X dollars. I am this close. I'm at 10% of my projection, and we're already in July, so I'm probably behind where I need to be. And then it shows you average net is about 5.62. I sold a personal flip this year, so we did 0, so that obviously changes some of those things. Average price is 415. My listing price is 372. Average buyers 441. Average days on market's 32. So it calculates everything for you in here the best that it can. The cool thing about this is this then allows us, myself, Steve, whoever your team leads are, to be able to look at the data and be able to say, hey, Marion, you're getting some good conversations, but you're not setting enough appointments. Where is the breakdown between appointments talked to or conversations had to appointments set? Like, let me help you and focus on what I can do to get you in that conversion ratio. Okay. Any questions thus far?
No.
Okay. Perfect. So up here, you guys see on the right-hand side, my picture, there is a goal calculator. This is where it all starts. And I probably should start there now that I think about it instead of going through the other stuff with you guys first. So Sisu has about 66,000 agents that utilize it. The owner of Sisu, the gentleman that developed it, his wife, his name is Spring Benson. She just joined EXP in the last 6 or 8 months. And so part of the deal to bring her over was EXP bought into Sisu and is offering it to our agents. So whatever they paid for it, I don't know if they bought into a portion of it, if they have a subscription, whatever. But now we as agents have access to it. All of this information right here is all averages across those 66,000 agents. So most agents are going to say, I want to make about 100 grand. That's kind of a very common number. Brand new person getting started. The people that are like, oh, I've never really projected anything. Let's plan at 100,000. Keep in mind that's gross. So after you take in splits and fees and taxes and everything else, you're probably at 50% of that. So just FYI, average price point is 534,875. Average splits 59%. That's like I said, paying referrals and all the other pieces. Percentage of business that's buyers. Most people are 72% buyers and a lot less listings. Average GCI percentage, they have this at 4%, which is kind of shocking to me. I would have thought that would be like 2.5, but like I said, this is set as an average around the whole, everybody is using it. You guys have the ability to enter in what your average price point is based on what you believe or how your last 12 months went. And then you guys also have the ability to go in and you get to project what you would like your gross income to be. I would recommend that you guys not change your split, the percentage of your business, also your appointments met and signed and all these things. But I would recommend you guys change your GCI to make it specific to you. So if you always ask for three, put in three. If you're like, well, I do three sometimes, two and a half sometimes, maybe choose a blended of 2.75. But for these other ones down here, do not change the averages because that is based on a grand scale. Those are very good averages. The cool thing about this software is as you progress and get really good at tracking yours, it will start to adjust the percentages of transaction to appointments, or I'm sorry, conversations to appointments set to appointments met. It will start to adjust based on your personal statistics. So it is truly fantastic. So there's that piece right there. So you guys will hit the calculate down here once you've done your numbers. I'm not going to hit calculate because it will then adjust my current numbers. So here are my goals. So I have a projection 2025 for 500,000 GCI. Now, I actually don't have a projection of 500,000 GCI. I actually tell every single agent that pick your number and then do me a favor and stretch it and double it. So my goal for this year was 250,000. That's my gross commission income. By the time I pay taxes and all the things, you're probably 150 to 175, 12 to 15,000 a month. I think that's a very solid salary that I can pay myself, or I'd like to set myself on that trajectory. So because I have 500,000, that says that I'm going to do 30 million in production. It says my average price point is 550, and I looked at my last 12 months, and 550 is about where I'm at. Notice that it says close goal is 96. So that's a lot of properties. I have closed over 100 on 2 different years, but 96 is a very big stretch for me. That is not really where I want to be. I'm probably on projection to do 45 to 50 this year. So notice, like I said, double. So I'm probably right in my range. It looks at 48 listings and 48 buyers because I'm usually about 50-50. So realistically, I'm probably going to close about 25 of each. And actually, with the assumables, I'm probably going to be a little higher on the buy side this year. I'm probably going to be 60% buyer and 40% listing, just because that's where my focus has been. Any questions yet?
Nope.
Okay. So as you guys choose your goals and set your calculate, it will then populate into this area. And then here's the thing. It has the 2025 monthly goals and it has every month broken down. I have mine set how I believe the months will go. If you do not set these month by month, it sets it at 8.33%, which is a breakdown of everything is the same through every single month of the year. I don't believe that's accurate. So I adjusted mine based on what I believe is accurate. So in January, I think it's going to be lower. So I'm at 4%. Like I'm starting, think about it this way. It's January. I'm starting fresh. You may have a little bit of rollover from December or November, but I'm like, now is where I'm pushing that ball uphill. So I put this at 4% of my total. I did same thing in February, same thing in March. I probably could even set this at like 2 or 3%, 4%, and then 5%. But by April and May, we should be in momentum. So I'm at 9%. And then June, July, and August should be my best months at 14%. And 14% is of my total. And then it obviously kind of tapers down towards the end of the year. So I'm going to break down July. So if I'm looking at my projections, 500,000, and I'm at 14% of the year, it says I should make about 70,000 this month if my trajectory is right. And then I should have 4.2 million closed. You guys saw the numbers that I just showed you. I'm pretty darn close to those numbers. That means under contract volume, I should have 350. But pay attention. This says listings closed. I should be closing 6.7 listings and 6.7 buyers per month. I have 10 in escrow right now. This says I should have about 13. So I'm actually a little bit behind what it's saying. Notice it also starts to factor in 8.4 listings under contract and 8.4 buyers. the reason for those numbers to go from listings closed to listings under contract, and I actually almost think this should be upside down the other way, because I feel like you got to start at conversations, but we're going to go through it this way. Because I'm not going to close every single listing, I'm not going to close every single buyer that it gets signed, then it starts to work those numbers backwards based on the percentages I showed you in that initial calculation. But here's what I want you guys to recognize. I should have appointments met listings. That's 57 listing appointments this month and 57 buyer appointments this month. That's a lot of appointments. That's pretty much 3 appointments a day. And it says I should be having 2,800 conversations this month. I want to break that down per. Does that seem like a ridiculous amount to you guys?
Yeah.
It does, huh? 30. That means I need to have 95 conversations a day. So, because I am not putting everything in Sisu, because like everybody else, I'm human and I'm not tracking everything. Also, I probably need to look at my ratios because my ratios are probably better than what they have inside there. And keep in mind that I did have my stretch goals in there. So 95 conversations a day. I mean, that's literally on the phone all day long. So, like I said, as you get better, and like I said, I've only been using Sisu a little bit longer than you guys. I mean, I really learned about it in September. I used it September because I was still kind of getting used to it. And then when we started the 12-week challenge, the first one in the end of January is really when I dove in. So the system is still fairly learning my calculations and what my percentages are. And so I need to go back and look at my personal percentages, and I probably need to adjust a few things based on that. So, are you guys prepared to do yours?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. So you guys should have your logins for Sisu, correct?
Yeah. I do. I go in there.
Okay. Have you run all your or put in your calculate your goals?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, but today.
Good.
I've already done mine, but I might revisit it and,
Okay.
reality check. But it would be helpful if I actually put in my data and could get some performance assessment. Um, I know there's a conversion issue going on with setting appointments, but what's happening is I seem to be, um, I've got people committed to me. They're
Yeah.
just not committed to buying. And, um, it's that whole rate discussion. It's the whole getting them off the.
Yeah.
But they're starting to come around. I think I'm going to see some picking up in August, which is educating them about as interest rates come down, you're going to be in a competitive market. But that's exactly what the statistics can help you with is,
Yep.
oops, she's floundering right there. Oops.
Exactly. So that's the opportunity for us to help you guys. So I pulled up this screen right here. This is my transaction screen. And so it shows you who I have. So I have Sprig Drive. This is a buyer, investor that's buying a property on Sprig. I've got Rochelle, who's a buyer. Kyla is a buyer who signed a buyer broker, but we're not in escrow. This is a listing that's signed. This is a listing that's signed. This is a buyer that's in escrow. This is someone that's in my pipeline I'm having discussion with. I thought I was going to meet her and then she canceled on me. Edith and Cruz are in escrow in Manteca. Josephine is in escrow due to close this month. Dave and Jamie are a listing. Kate is a signed buyer broker. And actually, I showed a property to her yesterday, so I'm hoping she's writing an offer. Abraham actually happens to be buying this property right here. So that one's going to close the end of the month. Angela is a 2.65 assumable. I close in Vallejo. Michelle was a sign call that I closed. Adrian is my deal that's closing this month, actually this week. He's the listing side. Gunmar is the it's actually Gurnam. I spelled his name wrong. They're a double N that's closing. These are some people that really don't qualify, so they're kind of on hold. This guy already closed. James Wolf, Kate's brother, is looking for property also. Yvette, we closed. Skip is a listing that's going to close the end of the month. And I've got George, who's an escrow. And then here's all the other closings I have throughout the rest of the year. But this gives you the ability to kind of track everything and great little snapshots of, hey, where am I at so far this year in my pendings, in my signed contracts, in my this, in my that. So it's really an opportunity for you guys to learn to track things more than anything else. I am so thankful for this. I use Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets. I use my CRM, but this is like the actual people, like you said, Marianne, you're like, I've got people that are kind of in-ish interested, but by the time they've committed to you, hey, I'm going to sign, or I'm going to at least agree to meet with you, that's when you start to put them in here. This is what's tracking your right now business. All righty.
Okay.
And my right now business is not in there because the way it came in, when I got sick, I kind of lost my.
Yeah, it
And
happens.
we all have excuses, Gary, and I'm owning it, and I'm going to fix it this week
Good.
and revisit my goals. I will make that commitment to get that done.
Cool. I would ask you guys to feel free to take a screenshot, or give me a call and we can hop on a call just to kind of look at it. Because sometimes you think, hey, this sounds good to me and I believe this to be accurate for what I want. But then when you get an outside perspective, like, hey, in order to meet those goals, because you set these lofty goals, whatever they are, let's work backwards and see how many calls that's going to take, how many conversations.
Okay.
And it's like, wow, that's a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
used to,
Yeah.
and I've had some conversations with people that are like, well, I'm having, 20 conversations a week. And I'm like, I understand that's 20 a week, but that's only 100 a month. And if
Yeah.
you've got to hit 400 a month, you're considerably, behind the eight ball. But so it is helping people to be realistic in what they want to do. And then, like I said, it's also going back and saying, okay, well, maybe Steve's conversion ratio is probably better than mine, or, Tom Dave's, or, Brent Gove, or whoever you want to talk about. Some people's conversion ratios are different in different areas. So understand where your strengths are and focus on the places where we can, help you guys come along in that conversion.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, ladies.
All right.
I will have this
Well,
out
thank you.
to
You have a great day, Gary. We really appreciate all the time you spend with us.
you
Yeah.
got it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.